There are people who are being taken out of the Ed Gein show because Charlie Hunnam, the incredibly good-looking, sexy actor who's just naturally playing Ed Gein. Which, by the way, the more I look at Ed Gein, and maybe it's just the eye, but I think it's also because in the show, Ed Gein has very chiseled features. I feel like if we put Mike in a floppy painter's hat, you could do sexy Ed Gein. This is a compliment. Sexy Ed Gein, I think, is something that you could do for Halloween.
Well, I mean, it goes without saying. We know where he's referenced famously.
Where's that?
At the dinner table in American Psycho.
That's right. That's right. When Patrick Bateman just thinks it's polite dinner conversation to talk about women's
canal bar,
women's heads on a stick. Everybody's like, "All right, Pat. Okay, Pat." No, I think you could pull it off, Mike. Sexy Ed Gein.
Sure.
Sexy Ed Gein. Which could be, I don't know, it could be a big Halloween thing, but the voice is odd.
I think everyone's just going to be Aunt Gladys.
Oh. Aunt Gladys will be a big one.
I'm fine with the voice. It doesn't take me out of it.
It's not really what he sounded like.
What did he sound like?
Well, there's like a YouTube
tape.
Hey,
it's me, Ed Gein.
That's not what he sounded like.
Okay.
No. But it's just a very odd voice that a lot of people... Is it
like way off?
I mean, he doesn't have that high-pitched thing, that like... he doesn't sound like Paul Bearer coming to the ring with The Undertaker.
He doesn't sound
like low-key Paul Bearer walking The Undertaker to the ring.
Like Paul Walter Hauser in Blackbird?
Right, yeah, he doesn't really, like, listen, here's actual audio. And look, I mean, it doesn't have to be exact if it works for the
I've
TV
also noticed
character.
He doesn't stay in that voice. I think I'm one episode ahead of you or two, but he doesn't always stay in that voice.
Well, Charlie Hunnam said that he created the Ed Gein voice because when he was thinking about the character, he felt like Ed would put on a voice to please his mother.
Okay.
And that's why the voice is kind of like high-pitched and very, I don't want to say diminutive, but sort of, that sort of feigning politeness and yes, whatever you say, oh, yes.
Because when he's talking to other people, when he's talking to to the girl in the coffee shop, like when they're, like he sounds a little more normal.
Yeah. Yeah, so this was, and there's not a lot. I mean, obviously, Ed Gein got busted in the mid-1950s, so there's not a ton of audio of how he actually sounded.
He didn't do a 60 Minutes
But
interview?
Unfortunately, Ed Wallace wasn't available.
Okay.
But this is what he sounded like for real. And even this is hard to hear, so bear with it.
Did you work all night at that time? Don't you think you have it?
That's right.
What would you do with this part?
That was in.
One was painted, they said.
Oh, that one, when they got it,
See, it's very hard to understand anything that he's saying. But he's not.
The cadence.
Well, there's a cadence, but he pitched his voice up 7 octaves for it.
So that's his artistic choice.
Hi, Mama. And like he just sounds like a dude when you hear him, and you're like, why are you?
I don't know. I don't have a problem.
Why are you talking like that?
And Aunt Jackie can do no wrong, so.
I mean, she did great. But she sounds like just like a regular person. I will tell you it's, and I think Ryan Murphy has this effect where he does these, monster shows. And I don't think the entire audience knows what they're getting into because he stylizes it, He puts the big graphic up and it's very stylized. And like we've been talking about on the show, he gets like the best looking people and he adds like a weird sexiness to it. And then he starts the show. And like I'm watching with my wife, which you were texting about, Travis, but like I had the exact same experience. I'm watching with my wife and like she's like, wait, is that bowl a skull? And I go, yeah. And she's like, he used a skull as a bowl? I go, oh, baby girl. Oh, we haven't even gotten started with this thing. I don't think this is going to be your show. I don't think this is what... She goes, because we watched Sons of Anarchy together. We watched all the Sons of Anarchies together, and it was so great. I go, this is not Sons of Anarchy. She goes like when there's like, I don't know if it was a preview or the graphic or whatever it was, but the like graphic that's all over the place. It's the thumbnail for the show. Like I can't leave the thumbnail up when the children are using the Apple TV because if they scroll past it, it's horrifying. But like we're already kind of into episode 1 and whatever. We stop it and you can see the thumbnail, and she goes, "Wait, is that his mother's face on his face?" I go, "Oh, you didn't research this." And she goes, "Well, how do you know about this?" I go, "Well, I've read up on this. I've known about this for some time." She goes, When did you find out about Ed Gein?" I was like, "I think I've known about Ed Gein since high school." And she's looking at me differently, and I go, "This is not an odd thing. True crime is an entire genre. And just because now they cast, sexy dudes to play all the serial killers and all the ladies are like, now this is my shit, it doesn't mean it's been, it's been something that you can't look at for years prior."
I think after the first episode, my wife goes, "All right, so he robbed graves, but he's not like a monster." Like I was like, "Okay."
Let's keep watching.
I just
honey.
said okay.
Yeah, let's continue. Let's not make any snap judgments.
And the amount of times I heard from the other side of the couch,
What the fuck is he doing? What the fuck? And like the woman comes over and she's looking at the freshly upholstered chair that happens to have a human nipple on it. And my wife's like, "Is that?" I go, "Yeah. There's no. Is that like an udder?" "Oh, I guess you could say that." Why are you talking like Tiny Tim? Tiptoe through the tulips. There's no evidence that was the case. I feel like he saw when Daniel Day-Lewis played Lincoln, and Daniel Day-Lewis just insisted. Historians say Lincoln talked like this, and everybody was just like, "Well, okay, you're Daniel Day-Lewis. I guess you're probably right," even though I don't believe it that he's right. He's Daniel Day-Lewis, so he can get away with it. I feel like Charlie Hunnam was like, "Well, I can do that too." Oh, mother.
I don't know. I don't have such a problem with it.
Yeah, but you don't have a problem with anything he did.
Sure I do.
Ed Gein, I mean.
Oh, yeah. No, of course.
You don't have a problem with any of it.
Wrongly accused.
Well, I think he was pretty forthcoming about what he did.
Well, we'll see. We haven't gotten to that part yet.
It really is funny, too, because, his brother died under mysterious circumstances. But all the police reports from back in the day and everything.
What are you talking about? He was fine. He stood up and he...
They go, "I don't know what happened to him." All the police reports from back in the day, they go like, "Well, he died in this fire, except he had trauma to the back of his head and no burn marks whatsoever on him."
Guess it was fire.
Fire. I guess it was asphyxiation. But then, so I was watching it. I watched 2 episodes of it. I'm sure I'll get back to it. My wife needed a break. She was like, "Can we watch like Bad Bunny on SNL or something like that? Can we
put a Bluey on?"
Yeah, maybe. Can we put Huntrix on? Can we put K-pop Demon Hunters on? I go, "The kids are already asleep." She goes, I need something else. The nipple on the chair is it's a lot." I go, "Okay, but this is what you're supposed to do. You use every part. You use
Waste not, want not.
It's my favorite bowl." She goes, "I know what that bowl is." I go, "You're 100% right about what that bowl is."
You are very perceptive.
Anyway, I want to know how he got a body like that just eating pork and beans out of a can. Because he looks like an Adonis.
Yeah, but look at all the wood he was chopping.
That's probably what it is. Pork and beans and wood.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she needed a break after 2 episodes because it was very intense.
Okay.
So I'm sure we'll get there. But they do, like in the second episode, they twist it. And I would imagine this is a device to get it to 8 episodes because there's only so much that you can do in just telling the story, especially with a story like this that takes place in 30s, 40s, 50s. Like there's really not that much evidence. The reason that all of these
material?
Yeah. The reason all of these movies that are based on Ed Gein are nothing like Ed Gein because it's kind of like you have to take the kernel of the idea and just go to town with it. You create Buffalo Bill, or you create Leatherface, or you create, Norman Bates, and go in your own direction. And the Norman Bates thing wasn't even that long after Ed Gein, but you just there's only so you take the idea and then you tell a fuller story with it. And so, in the second episode, they start venturing more into like they go into the future and see the impact that it had on Hollywood, and they like in episode 2, and then I start reading the episode descriptions, which are spoilers, but I want to know.
Oh,
like,
I never read those. What's
well,
the matter?
because
with
I don't know what series I'm watching anymore.
you? Just watch the series.
I don't want to watch a series
What,
about.
do you skip chapters when you get to when you're
Yeah,
reading.
if
a book?
I buy a book about Ed Gein and it's like, now let me tell you the story about the movie Psycho.
Oh my God, just watch what the.
Oh
what
my
the
God!
artist did.
Oh my God! Why don't you just
So-
watch the artist
it's so
show?
frustrating for you to be like,
Why
well,
don't you
what
just,
is this?
oh my God! Why don't you just watch the artist show?
Oh God.
Because I'm watching a show called The Ed Gein Story, and then all of a
What's
sudden,
the story about him?
all of a sudden they're like, let me interrupt this episode to do most of the episode on what's his name, the director.
Bates? Oh, Alfred Hitchcock.
I'm like,
Truman Capote.
I'm fine. I'm fine watching an Alfred Hitchcock show.
Did you notice it was the same guy?
I noticed it was the same guy. I thought he got his makeup at Party City. They put Truman Capote in a cartoon like chin, and they were like, "No, that's Alfred Hitchcock." And I was like, "Oh, okay." Like at first, I go, "What?" Because also the scene is built exactly like the Truman Capote scenes, where it's like Alfred Hitchcock's at the head of the table. But all of a sudden, in episode 2, the majority of the episode is like, and I was like, I guess I didn't know Alfred Hitchcock was a peeping Tom, but. Also,
That may have just been the sexy Ryan Murphy.
it could have been the sexy Ryan Murphy twist. Why didn't they make Alfred Hitchcock sexy if they're going to make Ed Gein sexy? And
Or he's showing the parallel between Hitchcock and Gein.
Hitchcock didn't rob any graves. He was just a director.
He peeped.
He didn't kill anybody. Why would you make parallels between Ed Gein and Alfred Hitchcock? That's so messed up.
He's peeping.
Like if I was like, oh, I want to write a movie sort of based on Ed Gein. And then a series creator 50 years later was like, see, he was also very much like Ed Gein. I'd be like, no, I wasn't.
Okay, but this is the same guy.
No, I was not like Ed Gein. What are you talking about? I made movies. Right, maybe I peeped into a little peephole, but it was the 1950s. You know, Hollywood was a terrible place. It was not safe for women.
Ryan Murphy likes to take, liberties.
He likes to take liberties, and he likes to make things about Hollywood. And I'm going, you said it's the Ed Gein story, and I mean, this is a lot of Alfred Hitchcock in the Ed Gein story. And I'm very interested in Alfred Hitchcock. And I would probably watch an Alfred Hitchcock program. I would appreciate if they could increase the makeup budget on it so that it didn't feel like the chin was going to fall off at any given moment.
I wonder if it's done like that, like on purpose.
No,
Like-
it's
okay.
There's no way.
I completely disagree with you. I love this narrative. It's the Ed Gein story. This is telling the story of how, not just the person and not what he did, but how impactful he was from the 50s to the 70s to what I assume is going to be the 90s.
I'm gonna have to watch what Ted Demi's gonna be in this thing. I'm gonna watch the making of Silence of the Lambs now. I don't want to It says Monster, the Ed Gein story,
Yeah.
not Monster, Ed Gein's impact on Hollywood.
But it's all part of his story. Like he was
dead.
But he's arguably the most impactful. Like I don't want to say serial killer because he's not a serial killer, but
Wow.
one of these.
He might be. He
but-
wouldn't take ownership, but people were like, "Oh, he killed. Oh, all those. He didn't.
I'm pretty sure he only killed 2 people.
But except there were a whole bunch of girls that went missing in Plainfield, and he was like, I don't know anything about any of those girls.
Right, girls go missing all the time.
Right around Ed Gein's house, right in the surrounding areas
Bermuda Triangle.
of Ed Gein's house. Yeah, this is a Bermuda Triangle situation. That is something else. And obviously, his word could be trusted because it's not like he was a delusional schizophrenic.
No, I don't think he was ever diagnosed.
No, I don't think so either. But I'm also not sure if he was up to date with his doctor's visits. He was living on a diet of pork and beans eaten out of a human skull. He probably had other issues that he was dealing with at the time. And also in real life, didn't look quite as put together as Charlie Hunnam.
We'll never know.
Before there was Silence of the Lambs, there was Ed.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's a very clever storytelling device, and I like how different it is.
I think he only got 3 episodes out of Ed Gein, and he was like, we got to do something.
But you're probably right. There's not a lot of, source material. There's not a lot of Ed Gein interviews. There's not.
Well, and I think, too, that they want to make it so that they don't completely chase away people that don't want to watch the most horrific things of all time.
Don't spoil it for the wives.
Like, if you could throw in some old-timey Hollywood and make people forget that we're watching a show about a guy who skinned human beings and by all accounts was a prolific necrophiliac. I guess it is difficult to go like, no, Netflix, like your big show for October is this necrophiliac show. I guess you go like, well, how are we going to do a show about like a prolific necrophiliac? Well, what if we splice in some old-time Hollywood? Yeah, that sounds right up our alley.
Yeah, I don't know. I like showing the impact that he's had. And he's had a huge impact in movies.
I know, but I got it.
But yeah, you got it. But your wife, my wife, like a lot of people don't.
Whose?
My wife.
Oh, I see.
A lot of people don't know.
And then
he's Buffalo Bill.
They go like this. Anthony Perkins was a closeted homosexual. They're like, that's just like Ed Gein. And I go, it's not like Ed Gein. No, it isn't like Ed Gein.
The guy they got for him looks exactly like
He's
him.
perfect. And I'll watch The Making of Psycho, the Ryan Murphy story. I'll watch that too. But like, it's these parallels that are being made. It's like, whoa. Again.
Oh, I completely disagree.
If I'm like whatever, if Anthony Perkins is in my family and I'm watching,
Tony Perkins?
I go, Tony Perkins being a closeted homosexual, it's not the same as Ed Gein. Ed Gein's secret was that he had murdered people and was a grave robber, and he would skin people and was a prolific necrophiliac. That's totally different. That's not this. Well, it's a secret. Yes, it is. Yes, it's technically a secret.
What if it was Tony Perkis?
If it was like, I think there are more similarities between fitness guru Tony Perkis and Ed Gein. And look, and Tony Perkis had a toxic relationship with his parents, as did Ed Gein. Tony Perkis' father not paying attention to him turned him into the monster that he became when he crashed down upon the camp in heavyweights. And Ed Gein's relationship with his mother turned him into the monster that if you said monster, the Tony Perkis story,
you're in.
I'm so in. And Ben Stiller keeps himself in great shape. He could return to the role as Tony Perkis. Yes. And if they said, this isn't a direct comparison, but Tony Perkis is kind of like Ed Gein, and then we go into heavyweights and the making of heavyweights. Maybe Judd Apatow was influenced by Ed Gein when he wrote Tony Perkis. I go, oh, okay. Maybe if they if they went to, I guess it's an 8-episode series, and like I said, I'm only 2 episodes in, so I'm not trashing it. Obviously, I'm enjoying the series. I like all these Ryan Murphy shows. He makes very compelling television. Like, it's very watchable. It's very interesting. All the scenes are great. It looks cool. You know what I mean? I like it. But I felt very much like I was like, so I'll do a spoiler alert for episode 1. That's fine to do.
Yeah.
His mom passes in episode 1.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace to Roseanne's sister.
She just couldn't take those harlots.
No. Too many harlots. But when his mom, I thought that the first few episodes would be establishing that relationship. When his mom died in episode 1, I'm going, oh, we're off to the races, baby. Let's go. My wife doesn't know what's coming. She's going to be exposed to all horrifying scenes. And then they're like, episode 2, mostly about the movie Psycho. And I was like, well, I don't know. I mean, I think you should touch on it. I'm okay with it, but like, I don't know that I need this much Alfred Hitchcock.
Like, but it is a way to narratively tell a story without.
But you could just like
too much exposition.
Give me exposition about Ed Gein. I'm more interested in Ed Gein. I've seen Psycho. I know all about it.
You know all about it.
I remember.
You remember
boom,
that?
boom, boom, boom. And then and then there were scenes that were like parallels where you weren't sure if it was Ed Gein's story and it was Psycho. And my wife was like, did that actually happen in the shower like that? And I went, no. That didn't happen with Ed Gein.
It happened in the movie.
That happened in Psycho. And she was like, no, I know. I've seen Psycho. Most people have. But I feel like maybe if you go like, and maybe I'm wanting too much of traditional structure. Maybe I'm
Just
too
a
simple-minded.
through line,
Like just give me the story, and then maybe at the
Pulp
end,
Fiction must have fucked you up. All those scenes out of order.
I go, this is the end of the movie. Why would you show it in the beginning?
Oh, forget
This
Memento.
makes no sense. This Memento. This is ridiculous. How are we supposed to know what's going on? I'm as confused as the main character is. Anyway, I mean, you should have seen me. I watched The Usual Suspects, and I was like, why wouldn't you tell me that was Kaiser in the beginning? This would have all made more sense. Thought it was dumb. Oh, Bruce Willis, when he's like, you find out he was dead? I'm like, tell us he's dead when Donnie Wahlberg first shoots him.
Now I gotta watch it again.
And like, yeah. Now, all the other stuff is in a completely different context. I mean, it's crazy. No, but I go like, okay, maybe get 6 episodes in. Think that you've wrapped up the Ed Gein story and go like, okay, well, let's never talk about that again. And then you get into Hollywood.
We want 2 full episodes.
Keeping him alive.
No.
I mean, I got a full episode about Alfred Hitchcock, which is a sprinkle of Ed
Not a
Gein.
full episode.
And his chin. Maybe if the makeup was better, I wouldn't have been
You
so
are
offended.
So exaggerating how long they spent on it.
It felt like a lot, and it could have been the chin, and I will say that. It could have been chin related, because it did feel. Will you at least give me that the chin felt costumey?
I didn't really. I gotta be honest.
Okay,
I didn't.
Come
notice
on,
the
his chin wasn't that exaggerated. Alfred Hitchcock's chin wasn't that big. Mike, can you look up a picture of Alfred Hitchcock on the show Monster, and then a picture of Alfred Hitchcock? It was an insane chin.
What really took me out of it was that the actor, and I forget his name, he's doing his Capote voice from Feud as Alfred Hitchcock.
As Alfred
it's the
Hitchcock.
same voice.
He
And I'm
just-
like, that's the guy.
He does a great
He does a great voice.
kind of pseudo-British,
Yeah.
late 50s voice.
Nope. That's the actor.
That's the actor.
I don't know.
See-
Maybe there aren't like screenshots.
Yeah, maybe because I didn't see it. I didn't know what was happening. But that's also. It's like when they released the Mean Girls musical in movie theaters.
Uh-huh.
But then if you watched every trailer for it, they were like, "Nope, this is just Mean Girls. Swear to God, it's not a musical. I swear." That's what they said. They said, "I swear." It said Mean Girls. I swear to God, it's not a musical. That's what the trailer said. And you go, okay. Based on that trailer, I'm gonna buy a ticket, and it was the musical. It was 100% the musical, and I'm going, why wouldn't you just advertise there's a Mean Girls musical? Why would you advertise? Instead, they thought it was better to make people believe we just randomly did a shot-for-shot remake of the film Mean Girls. We want you to believe that because we have more confidence in you going to see a shot-for-shot remake of the film Mean Girls than if it were just the musical. And I don't think that movie did very well because but that's because it wasn't related at all. So I feel like if they had said, I mean, come on, this is the scene. Look at.
I don't know. I didn't notice it as much as you did.
I noticed it immediately. I go chin chin. I felt like Austin Powers. Moly 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 moly. I couldn't get my head wrapped around it. Like, why would they do that? Didn't they go like, okay, look, we looked at the dailies. We need to do something about the chin.
Maybe they spent so much money on fake vulvas.
They did show all the vulvas, and the vulvas looked real.
Yeah.
Although I haven't seen very many in real life, but I think they looked real. I think that's what they look like.
But maybe they were like, oh, shit, we didn't account for the chin.
The chin. And they were like, well, Ryan, you didn't tell us that most of the show would be about Alfred Hitchcock.